Okay, so we've got our first question from Louise, who asks, in regards to the fact that the project annual budget must not exceed 50% of average income over the past 3 years, is this about the lead organization or is it all partners?
So the budget income requirements all relate to the lead organization. So it's lead organization only.
Thank you. Lily asks, is it open to organizations outside of the UK?
Yes, absolutely. So it's international organization, but remember the key is the country. The project needs to be in one of the eligible countries that you can find in Annex A of the guidance note for applicants.
Alexandra asks, can you elaborate on what fulfills adequate technical capacity as part of the eligibility criteria?
It's a good question. I think in terms of this, you would need to be able to demonstrate as part of the partnership projects that your organization has ability to implement the activities that you are proposing. So that's not just in terms of having the resourcing and the number of staff to do that, but also having the technical capacity to be able to implement those activities. So it may be that you've got prior experience in the activities that you're working in, or that you've done sufficient research and development into bringing those and being able to implement those activities. And so it's just about being able to provide that evidence to the expert committee that from your organization will be able to have that ability to implement the more technical aspects of the project, and it's for them to be able to be confident that you have that ability to implement activities.
Thanks, Billy. Our next question is from Henry about letters of support. He asks if this includes a letter of support from a lead organization, and are letters of support from the government required or just encouraged?
So we don't need, oops, sorry, Valentina.
No, you go ahead, Billy, yeah.
We don't need a letter of support from the lead organisation. It's only partner organisations that we need to have the letter of support from. In terms of from government, it's not a requirement, but we would be interested to see letters of support from local government or national or regional government as a way of demonstrating that you've been able to engage or consult with them about your project. And we are encouraging organisations to have that engagement and consultation with local host government. So yeah, that would be a benefit and is encouraged.
We have our next question from Bindi, who asks, can local partners be local universities or government agencies, or do they need to be community organisations?
Yeah, I can take that one on. Yeah, so the answer is yes, they can be. I guess the kind of like potential issue is, so they can definitely partner, they can't lead, be a lead organisation. And in terms of funding, it very much depends on whether they're government-based. If they're government-based, then we wouldn't be able to provide funding to them, but they can certainly provide in-kind funding.
Thanks. We have a question next from Blaise, who asks about the policies that we ask to be submitted with the application. If organisations don't have a specific standalone policy for each point listed, for example, a whistleblowing policy, but that these points are covered in other broader policies or statutes, is that okay?
I think try to upload just a bit about the required policy. So in your example, whistleblowing policy is part of a larger policy. Just extract the part on whistleblowing and upload it for whistleblowing policy. And you can do the same for all other policies.
Our next question is from Erica, who asks, can you please explain what's required for a pen portrait?
So it's like a bio. It's a paragraph describing the person that will undertake that project and their specific role.
Yeah, and it should focus on why they're the right person for that particular role that you're proposing them. Okay, and our next question is from Janari. Sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong. Can an organization apply for both application modalities with different lead partners and different projects?
Yes, you can be on more than one proposal, but again, let's be careful and only put forward the best project proposals. But you can be, in principle, in multiple proposals.
Our next question is from Tamir, who asks, can a proposed project focus on more than one outcome of the Blue Planet Fund?
Yes, and I think we allow multiple answers, and you can also specify other, so something different, which is not one of the Blue Planet Fund outcomes.
Our next question is from Emily, who asks about experience in our previous years. Have we had eligible organizations and applications from Latin America? So the short answer to this is the first year of Ocean and the first round. So we have no experience of it so far, and so we can't provide any examples yet, but we hope to be able to share that in the next round.
I think just to add on that, Nicola, organizations from Latin America are eligible, so please do consider putting an application forwards if you're interested in the opportunity and are an eligible organization. We are looking to fund projects around the world in any ODA, well, in ODA eligible countries as defined in our application guidance. So yeah, please do consider that. And in terms of main errors, I think we've probably touched upon some of them today, but word limits and supporting information, just making sure that you are uploading the correct supporting information, using the templates that are provided, and making sure to follow the guidance and the steps in the application form carefully is probably the key areas for you to focus on when submitting your application.
We have our next question is regarding the ocean community. I think we covered this a little bit already in the presentation since you asked the question. How can we join the community and how do we access it?
So I think we were going to have more information about how to access the community coming out in the next few days or very shortly. But the site is available online. You would need to register an account with the UN Ocean Decade network to be able to access the group. Once you've registered this account, you would then search for our group, click join, and it's an open access group, so you will be able to access the group after registering to join. So the link to access the UN Ocean Decade network was shared in the chat before. We can just pop that back in a second so that you have the link of where to create an account. Please do keep an eye out. If you haven't already, maybe sign up to the mailing list so that you make sure that you get the information of how to register for the site, and we'll make sure to share more information about this. But as you mentioned in your question, it will be hopefully a great resource for seeking potential partners. So we do encourage everyone to sign up and start using the site to build that networking.
Thanks, Billy. Our next question from Madeleine is, how many awards do we expect to make in this first year?
That's a great question. Yeah, it very much depends on the kind of quality of grants that we get. We're conscious that for this first round, that due to the kind of like startup time for the projects, they're not going to be able to start until October. So our kind of like baseline of funding that we've got available will be slightly smaller in this round, but then we'll be peaking at around 12 million a year. So we'll be looking to award grants within that kind of like budget that we have available to us on an annual basis. But like I say, this first round will be potentially smaller just purely because there'll be a lot less time for budget spend within this time.